Today I'm going to be doing my project on a landscape architect named Thomas Church. Thomas Church is known throughout landscape history and has been like that for the past 60 plus years. He was born in Boston, Massachusetts on April 27, 1902. At 22 years old, he attended the University of California to receive his bachelor's degree in landscape architecture, and then later attended Harvard University and accomplished a master's degree in city planning and landscape architecture. Thomas obviously worked hard for his career, and this led to his large success in the landscape industry. Thomas is known as the pioneer of modern landscape architecture in the USA. His style was known as the California style, hence his potential inspiration from the West Coast. Thomas Church also wrote a book called Gardens Are for People. This book described gardens as a logical extension of the house that greatly benefits every homeowner. Also, another book called Your Private World. These books were essentially manuals to accomplish a modern design. Thomas Church dedicated his life to his profession in creating designs for all types of sites, influencing many people and other designers in the field. He blazed a trail that many other people followed, and he got the industry to where it is today. And here's just a couple of pictures of Thomas Church. So, Thomas Church is known as the pioneer of modern design in the landscape. He experimented with it throughout 2,000 plus private residential landscapes that he had designed. Thomas used principles like unity, function, simplicity, and scale to determine how his landscape would be laid out in every new project he had taken on. These were Thomas's fundamentals to his design process to accomplish his California style that he had developed throughout his career. This influence Thomas Church had on the landscape landscape design through the use of his modernist design principles has been prolonged for the past 70 plus years, only becoming even more popular as time goes on. His designs correlate with modern architecture as they complement each other with clean edges and boxy buildings. Thomas Church by no means was a cookie-cutter designer. He was constantly innovating and experimenting with new design concepts that were controversial but intriguing. Experimentation in landscape design is what modern design accomplishes, and this can sometimes be used improperly, putting functionality at risk. But Church never let this happen. He perfectly combined the art form with a design that works for the consumer. And here is one of Thomas Church's design on my slide here. So, Thomas Church's most known works. So, the Donnell Garden. This garden was designed primarily by Thomas and two other architects by the names of George Rockrise and Lawrence Halprin. And this is an art piece that is linked to the name of Thomas Church to this day. This site is located in Sonoma, California, on a local cattle ranch designed and built for the Donnell family to provide a place to play, barbecue, swim, and relax. Since completed in 1948, this landscape has been one of the most well-preserved private residential landscapes of its time. Thomas used a curvilinear format for this particular design while creating a clean and organized landscape. Thomas introduced interest through the use of abstract sculptures, like the piece that is centered in the pool. Modern design is usually accomplished with square and blocky shapes, but Thomas still manages to create a modern feeling in a circular space, through the use of abstract design and objects. This landscape feels ahead of its time due to the fact that it was built in the 40s. Thomas Church manages to create a timeless landscape that has been able to maintain its popularity through the years. I think this is due to the ease of looking at this landscape. It projects a smooth layout that is simply eye candy, with no sharp or out of place aspects of the design. The shape of the kidney pool was controversial in its time, but now has become a normal option in the landscape design of any backyard because of its natural, curvy shape. And there's some pictures of the Donnell Garden. There's the design, and then just a picture of the pool with its famous sculpture in the middle. One of Thomas Church's larger projects, called Park Merced. Um, yeah, this was a large and successful design. This large lot was designed as a city within a city in collaboration with two other architects. This design had housing and other buildings surrounding a middle garden in a radial geometric fashion, as seen in the photo I've provided. All of the major streets eject from the main circle park in the middle of the lot, creating a pie-shaped design. Thomas incorporated lots of living accommodations, while keeping lots of green space within the boulevards and having many trees throughout the lot. This design was put into action in the years of 1940 to 1951, having nearly 3,500 residential units, a commercial zone, school, and recreational space, all located in San Francisco, California. This was a groundbreaking design that went against all traditional American homes of its time. This design heavily uses the design principle of unity and a sense of symmetry, as every building is relevant to the center point of the entire city. This project was another project that Thomas Church was a part of that was completely different from the surrounding city and landscape. His designs introduced a new way of building, designing, and accomplishing. The top picture is a bird's eye view of the project, and the picture below is an up-to-date rendering of the area. Valencia Gardens was a project that consisted of 246 units and was directed as a low-rent project for people that have fewer funds than others. This neighborhood became known in later years to be one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in San Francisco, where lots of drug trafficking took place. The neighborhood was later demolished in 2003. This neighborhood had the combinations of strong modern architecture and a strong modern landscape. Thomas Church's design consisted of interlocking courtyards, shared private green space, and shared space for everyday chores for residents. Thomas Church remains to supply a clean and organized design every time. Use of crisp edges and bright colors to correlate with one another while maintaining a functional space. One of Church's main design principles is functionality, and he continues to provide that. The accomplishment this project was trying to fulfill was keep middle to low class people in the city as they were being driven out by the rising price of living. The first picture is the original creation, and the second picture is the new build replacing the drug-infested neighborhood. This new build still stands to this day and has been a successful new project. And that's all. I'll put my links on the last slide.